Hello and very good morning, all my Rajeshwar dear friends of class 10th A, B, and C. Today onwards, we shall start the reading of our supplementary reader, Footprints Without Feet. I shall repeat supplementary reader in English for class 10, Footprints Without Feet. And to begin with, the first lesson, A Triumph of Surgery. It is a story about Tricky, a small dog who is pampered and overfed by his rich mistress. He falls seriously ill, and his mistress consults a veterinary surgeon. During the course of reading and understanding of the lesson, we will come to know, does he perform an operation or does the dog recover? While reading, we will find out why is Mr. Pumphrey worried about Tricky, and what does she do to help them? Also, is she wise in this? And lastly, who does I refer to in this story? So I shall begin with the reading of the story. So please take out the first page, page number 1 of our supplementary reader, Footprints Without Feet. And we begin the reading of first lesson, page number 1. Please open your books. A Triumph of Surgery. Shall I begin? All ready? So let's start. I was really worried about Tricky this time. I had pulled up my car when I saw him in the street with his mistress, and I was shocked at his appearance. He had become hugely fat, like a bloated sausage with a leg at each corner. His eyes, bloodshot and rheumy, stared straight ahead, and his tongue lolled from his jaws. Mrs. Pumphrey hastened to explain. He was so listless, Mr. Harriot. He seemed to have no energy. I thought he must be suffering from malnutrition. Malnutrition. So I have been giving him some little extras between meals to build him up, some malt and cod liver oil, and a bowl of Horlicks at night to make him sleep. Nothing much, really. And did you cut down on the sweet things as I told you? Oh, I did for a bit. But he seemed to be so weak that I had to relent. He does love cream cakes and chocolates, so I can't bear to refuse him. I looked down again at the little dog. This was the trouble. Tricky's only fault was greed. He had never been known to refuse food. He would tackle a meal at any hour of a day or night, and I wondered about all things Mrs. Pumphrey hadn't mentioned. Are you giving him plenty of exercise? Well, he has his little walks with me, as you can see, but Hodgkin, the gardener, has been down with lumbago, so there has been no ring throwing lately. So this was the first page reading. We move on to the next page, page number 2. Ready, guys? I tried to sound severe. Now, I really mean this. If you don't cut his foot right down, sorry, and give him more exercise, he's going to be really ill. You must harden your heart and keep him on a very strict diet. Mrs. Pumphrey wrung her hands. Oh, I will, Mr. Harriet. I'm sure you're right. But it is so difficult. So very difficult. She set off, head down, along the road, as if determined to put the new regime into practice immediately. I watched their progress with growing concern. Tricky was tottering along in his little tweed coat. He had a whole wardrobe of these coats for the cold weather and a raincoat for the wet days. He struggled on, dropping in his harness. I thought it wouldn't be long before I heard from Mrs. Pumphrey. The expected call came within a few days. Mrs. Pumphrey was distraught. Tricky would eat nothing, refused even his favorite dishes. And besides, he had bouts of vomiting. He spent all his time lying on a rug, panting. Didn't want to go for walks, didn't want to do anything. I had made my plans in advance. The only way was to get Tricky out of the house for a period. I suggested that he be hospitalized for about a fortnight to be kept under observation. The poor lady almost swooned. She was sure he would pine and die if he did not see her every day. But I took a firm line. Tricky was very ill, and this was the only way to save him. In fact, I thought it best to take him without delay, and, followed by Mrs. Pumphrey's wailings, I marched out to the car carrying the little dog wrapped in a blanket. The entire staff was roused, and maids rushed in and out bringing his day bed, his night bed, favorite cushions, toys, and rubber rings, breakfast bowls, lunch bowl, supper bowl. Realizing that my car would never hold all the stuff, I started to drive away. As I moved off, Mrs. Pumphrey, with a despairing cry, threw an armful of little coats through the window. I looked in the mirror before I turned the corner of the drive. Everybody was in tears. Out on the road, I glanced down at the pathetic little animal gasping on the seat of my side. I patted the head, and Tricky made a brave effort to wag his tail. Poor old lad, I said. You haven't a kick in you, but I think I know a cure for you. So, this was what we have read till now. Okay, and after there are some oral question answers. Read and find out. So, while reading, you can read again, you can read yourselves, and there are few questions, four of them, which are to be answered orally. First one among them: is the narrator as rich as Tricky's mistress? Second, how does he treat the dog? Third, why is he tempted to keep Tricky as a permanent guest? Fourth and the last question: why does Mrs. Pumphrey think the dog's recovery is a triumph of surgery? These all things we will read and we'll find out in the next part of the reading. So that's all for today. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye and good luck. Thank you, everyone.